There it is.
There it is.
We're back.
We are.
Episode 17.
17.
17.
In the final waning moments of the year
of 2021.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. This is special. This was special edition, if
you
will.
It's a very special edition.
You're not going to get exactly what you get from every other podcast.
No, we actually prepared for this one.
Yeah, we did. There's small notebook and maybe a couple hours before this.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But it's good. So we both know the topic this time.
We do.
So why don't you tell them what it is?
Well, it's very predictable. You know, at this time of year, it's the end of the year. We're in that little, week between Christmas and New Year's where, people look back and look forward. So we decided that we're going to look back and look forward. So
drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. Yeah, exactly. So as we look at 2021 coming to a close, we've seen the same thing on social media. Mm-hmm. This cute little thing which says that the coming year is 2022.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yeah. 2020 TOO.
Right. Because people want to look backwards and say, 2022 is really just 2022.
Also,
yeah, exactly. And so,
which is everybody's worst nightmare.
Exactly. And so we want to start off with that look back by saying, okay, you can look back and regret and feel kind of bummed out or sad, right? Like, no.
Another year, another 2020, another 2021.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can look back at a bad year or a tough moment or a bad relationship and go, man, that was tough. Yeah. That was really tough. It was really difficult, challenging. Or you can look back and say, man, that was really tough, really challenging. But there's a lot of lessons. And so the first takeaway as we look back at 2021 is...
Yeah, I mean, is it the winner you learn?
Exactly. As sappy and predictable as that may be, a couple guys sitting in front of you that absolutely believe. Yep.
It's I mean, there's so many big things like that, right? I mean, you win or you learn. It's not you had to be so nimble, or you constantly were throwing curveballs throughout both 2020 and 2021.
Yes,
they had to learn to adapt. You had to learn to change.
For sure,
that's one of the biggest first points.
No doubt. And we contemplated at one point a few months ago about using Michael Jordan and all of the setbacks that he had in his life, and he called those setbacks or failures or disappointments more wood on the fire.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I think as we look at 2021 and those that are making cutesy little sayings about 2020, whatever it was, if you're looking back and saying, okay, this was difficult, this was challenging, it was painful, stressful, all the above, consider that wood on the fire. Consider those good lessons that you can apply moving forward.
Yeah, and when we were starting to think about this, there were probably 10 things we could have talked about for 2021 and 10 things to look forward to, but we tried to whittle it down to the top 5 of each.
Yep, 5.
So you're going to get the top 5.
Right, except for in 21 there's only 4, but 5 sounded like more than
better.
4.
So yeah, exactly. 4.5, almost 5, we'll call it 5.
Exactly. So,
optimist, we're looking forward.
Yeah, so that's number 1 is the 2022 is really something to look forward to, and you win or you learn or throw more wood on the fire. Yep. Number 2, follow your gut or your heart.
Absolutely. I personally had to do this year. We always like to talk about how we're just real people. We're not, we shovel our own driveways and
we do
mow our own lawns and all that kind of stuff.
Burp our own babies.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, or dogs, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So this year, I had to follow my gut, follow my instinct, and it panned out. I had to leave a job I was at for 8 years-ish.
Yeah.
To move on to better and brighter things, and it was the best move I've ever done. And so many more things I just learned. Follow your gut, follow your instinct, and that shouldn't lead you astray too many times.
Yeah. So sometimes I get chided and chastised and teased a little bit about possibly a little bit of the mutual admiration society that happens in this podcast. Like my buddy Jake saying, do you guys ever disagree? People might say, oh well, I kind of get the gist of what Adam's saying, that it was a big decision and so on and so forth. I would just say, without being overly dramatic, you have no idea. I mean, the guts that it took, the patience that it took for you to make decisions, and the decisions that you did was admirable, it was inspirational. And I think that maybe in future podcasts or when people meet you, they can talk to you about some of those things, but you really did. I mean, the timing of the decisions you made and when you did it, you followed your gut and your heart. And even in some of our very private and animated conversations, I would have wanted you to do, things different, maybe just because I thought that was best for you, or at certain moments I thought it would be better, for me, but you really stuck to your guns and you followed your heart.
The other thing, the addendum to that is following your gut. Yes. I think the more you do it though, the easier it gets. And I know that's some people might not agree. Like, no, it's always hard when you got to do that.
Yeah.
But I think the easier it gets, at least for me, it was right. Even after that, I turned down a job offer when I got, right when I left that role I was at.
Yeah.
And, to me, both of those situations, albeit hard in the moment, to me, it was just the move that had to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I tried not to let there be too much pressure or stress on myself. And I think that's one thing businesses or employees, who's ever watching, whether it's a business owner, a leader, or just an everyday employee, I think you can absolutely take something away from trusting your gut, whether it's on a small project, whether it's on a big life move.
Sure.
Trust your gut.
And I just want to echo what you said about when you follow your gut, it gets easier. That muscle of following your heart or your gut gets stronger. I remember being 17 years old and I had procrastinated about, 5 years on my Eagle Scout project. And one night my dad came into my room and just said, look, I've tried to motivate you and sent you. I've tried to, threaten and discipline you to follow through and get this Eagle Scout project done. But he said, I've come to the conclusion that he said, the thing that I want to convey to you as your dad more than anything else is that whatever you decide to do, if you follow through on this Eagle Scout project and get it done, that will increase the odds that you will follow through on other important things in your life. And if you don't follow through and do it, that will also become easier for you to stop short or not complete that. And so I think that wisdom from, way back in the day is still true today. So, one of the big takeaways from 2021 is, follow your heart, follow your gut. Rarely will it let you down. Even if you don't get the results you want, as you alluded to on number one, you're going to learn something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So number three, no tolerance for toxic.
That's right. Absolutely. The power is so much more in the employee's hands now. And if you're a toxic leader or there's a toxic work environment, toxic culture, doesn't ride anymore. You can't do it.
No doubt. And you're given a preview of our fourth one that employees have a bunch of options, but that no tolerance for toxic, whether it's a work environment, whether it's a personal relationship, whether it's a family dynamic, we all have this guidance system built into us that we're very aware when things are toxic. And when there's so much toxicity around us, sometimes we feel like, well, I got to deal with this. Well, when you marinate in toxic environments or toxic attitude or toxic talk or behavior, you become at the very least numb to it. And in some cases, you contribute.
But I was going to say part of it. Yeah. I'm a big believer in the universe and the law of attraction and karma, and what you put out, you get back. So if you're constantly surrounding yourself with toxicity and toxic people and environments, whether personal or business, it's going to follow you. It's going to stick to you.
Right.
It's going to be there. So,
and sometimes you don't realize how bad it is until you start to move out.
Exactly.
Of it, and you realize how unbelievably stained and I guess, I don't know if dirty is the right thing to say, but how
it's just kind of hitting me. Our points are starting to mesh together more than I initially realized too, because going back to the first and second one, following your gut and, some of that stuff, when I had to leave a toxic work environment, a toxic situation, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I was on the other side of it. And I was like, whoa.
Well, I think Nicole, your wife has commented.
Oh yeah.
The mindset.
Yep.
How much more tolerable, not totally tolerable you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
She's still got to put up with a lot.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. No, it's true. I was very negative to be around, and I didn't even, kind of realize that it was happening.
Yeah.
And so, trust your gut, get to the other side of it.
Exactly. And so with all the stuff going on in the world and in business and in politics and, social and economics, just one of the third big takeaway from 2021 is be very aware of how tolerant you might have become for toxic people, toxic behaviors, or toxic environments.
And that goes for business owners and leaders too, because that's existing in your workplace culture, and culture is a big, and I don't want to give away too much, but that's a big point for 2022 as well. And, watch out for those things.
Yeah,
they'll get you.
Yeah. And the last one, you alluded to it, is that one of the big, significant, almost unprecedented takeaways from 2021 is the power and the influence that employees have at this point in time as it relates to businesses.
Yeah. 2021, people dubbed that the Great Resignation. A lot of people were leaving the workforce. Employers were starting to realize, we might not have, the leg up. Smart leaders and employers were realizing that.
Right.
Other ones thought they still did.
Yep.
Right. Those are the ones that are going to be left behind.
Yes.
The power is now in the employee's hand.
Right.
There's a lot of job openings. There's a lot of really good talent, and you really have to start catering to that talent.
Yep. Well, and the fact that, we talked to a number of businesses, and I think across the board, labor continues to be an issue. I think about, this Dairy Queen down the street from me who, their drive-through has been open, I think, for most of the time, especially after, the quarantines, the hardcore quarantines were over. But at this very moment, they still have a sign in their store window that says that dining room is closed. And, when we go through, sometimes Ellen will want a Blizzard, she's just got to have a Blizzard, and we'll go through the drive-through and I'll ask them, when do you open up the dining room? And they're like, we have no plans to, because they can't find labor.
Yeah.
William, he plows and shovels snow for a contractor here in town, and he was out all last night after the snowstorm and was talking about the number of people. You heard him just saying that the people aren't coming in because I think employees know they're not going to get fired.
Exactly.
They can kind of do what they want to do, and so that's a big takeaway, that employees have power and leverage like they've never had. Business leaders and owners, if you don't understand that already, you would be well advised humbly to pay attention to that, whether you agree with why they have the power and influence or not. The fact is, it's more than ever.
Yeah, which is a good transition into our top 5 business moves for 2022.
You bet. So, and we'll start at the bottom up. The number 5, and there are actually 5.
An official 5 on this one.
Number 5 for 2022 is wake up.
Yep.
Wake up. The hardcore quarantine and all that stuff, it's over. And so we see some things where the boundaries have gotten a little fuzzy. It's gotten gray where, you might not have to go into work all the time.
Yep.
And even though you're not going into work, you can just show up on video. Oh, but wait a minute. Maybe you don't have to have your video camera on. You can be in your jammies with bedhead and a bag of Doritos in front of you, but that sort of personal accountability is not going to serve you.
Why were you looking at me when you said bedhead? Is there something I should know?
Yeah.
Exactly. No, everybody wake the f*** up.